Welcome back, everyone, to the Who Would Win? It's not even the box office or anything like that. It's the Who Would Win. This one comes to us today from Sage Master, who asked the question, who won in a fight? Sasuke Uchiha, one of the main leads, the strongest characters in the Naruto series. Or initially he was, for a while, the longest time he was. And Yamamoto, the original founder of the Gote 13 in Bleach, the former head captain for his untimely death, or timely death, however you want to interpret that. Who would win? Now, when it comes to Bleach characters versus Naruto characters, I do generally lean towards the Bleach characters, and this is not just because I prefer the series of Bleach over Naruto. I just think that scaling for the universe is higher. Sasuke, though, did cap out pretty high, though, for his world. So let's look over Sasuke. Sasuke, by Boruto, I believe he is in his late 20s, early 30s, I think, by Boruto. He's missing his arm, but Yamamoto's also missing his arm, so it evens out. Has an immense chakra pool, large enough to not really to rival Naruto's, because no one rivals Naruto's chakra pool, but a sizable chakra pool nonetheless. He's got access to multiple fire style jutsu. In fact, I think he knows every element, I believe. One second here. Sasuke Uchiha. In terms of, does he actually, he has light, we know lightning and fire were his main ones, but did he gain access ultimately to all of them? He did. Okay, he did. And in release. So, he does have access. Plus, he has, he has Blade's release as well, due to the fact that he can manipulate his Amaterasu. At his peak, mind you, we are looking at the peak of Sasuke, not his after losing the Rinnegan phase. At his peak, he was capable of contending with some of the strongest individuals, including, I believe, it's been all but confirmed he surpassed Madara in terms of ability and power and skill. I don't know if he could have beaten Kaguya, the Boruto version of Sasuke. It's possible. But he has, like I said, access to multiple fire style jutsu, lightning style jutsu, including the infamous Chidori, but also Kirin, which is a massively powerful jutsu that moves at the speed of actual natural lightning, which can devastate an opponent. If it wasn't for Itachi's own Susanoo, he would have died. Sasuke, tactician, swordsman, has multiple seals on his arms to release untold amount of weapons. His Sharingan is obviously one of his bread and butter techniques, capable of copying, seeing, understanding, and imitating anything he sees physically, capable of seeing through illusions, and copying any jutsu he sees. That doesn't really play a factor in a non-Naruto fight, but still well known. As long as his opponent isn't faster than him, he can basically predict and keep up with any one of his opponent's movements. Beyond that, though, he obviously has his Mangeki, actually, his eternal Mangeki Sharingan, which gives him access to a very heavily powered Sharingan-based Genjutsu, which he does have. Access to Amaterasu, the black flames of hell that burn even other flames. And with his, I believe it's Kagetsuchi, or Blaze release, he can manipulate that Amaterasu. And then, moving beyond that, he has access to a Susanoo, a giant chakra construct of massive destruction, which he does have his completed form of it, which is capable of laying waste to mountainsides. And capable of flight, capable of even blocking out extremely powerful genjutsus like the infinite Tsukiyomi. And wielding both a sword and I think he uses the arrow as a sword. His Susanoo allows him usually to fire an arrow, and he can combine it with Amaterasu to basically fire an Amaterasu arrow, which is insanely powerful. But I think normally his Susanoo is, I can't remember if it's wielding an arrow like a blade or if it does have a blade. Okay. Oh, like all Susanoo, Sasuke does have two swords at its disposal he can use against a target. More commonly, his Susanoo employs a bow that fires arrows at rapid speed, and when needed, doubles as a shield. Okay, there we go. Now, when he had the powerful tail beast, he was also able to use Indra's arrow, but that's not a technique he normally has. He also has access to his Rinnegan, which gives him basically the 6 paths power, albeit on a lower scale. Because he only has one. Granted, it's a Rin Sharingan, not a Rinnegan or a Sharingan, but a hybrid of the two. Because of that, he is capable of using any of the 6 paths to a lesser extent, including the Deva path's gravitational pulls. It even created Ichibaku Tensei himself, which was basically the giant gravity well which sucked up Earth and trapped things in there. He can do the Prana path, which can absorb chakra. He can do the human path, hypothetically, to steal information in stalls, hypothetically. He can theoretically do the Azure and Naraka path, and the animal path. All this is hypothetical, mind you, because the only ones he's really demonstrated are the Prita path and the Deva path. Those are really the only ones he's demonstrated, but it's assumed he can use any of them. Its signature ability, though, the Rin Sharingan, is a space-time ninjutsu, which allows him to basically move through dimensions. I believe it's called Amenota Jikara, which allows him to A, move through dimensions, but B, swap places instantly with 2 targets and at a specific range. So it's a very useful technique in terms of getting one up on your opponent or just dimensional travel. So Sasuke is insanely powerful, but does he compare to Yamamoto? Well, Genryusai Yamamoto, or Shigegune Genryusai Yamamoto, was the founder of the 13 Court God Squad, and he was the head captain of the 13 Court God Squad for 2,000 years before his death. As he claimed, that is because there has never been a captain, a Shinigami, born stronger than me since his inception. There was never a Shinigami born stronger than him. Now, there is a lot of debate beyond that, and when I redo the captain power rankings, which I will do again because we've got more information thanks to the 1,000-year Blood War arc, plus I decided just to include every Shinigami on that, we will definitely be contesting that a little bit. But, more to the point, is that Yamamoto is considered like a transcendent level of power. Right out of the gate, his level of spiritual energy is so vast that it literally makes other planetary level captains, and most of the higher level captains theoretically can wipe out a planet if they really had to. Usually puts most of them to shame. A few exceptions would be Aizen, maybe Kenpachi, and that one's debatable. But Ichibei, it takes like the highest tiers to match him. His level of energy is through the roof. He has literally over 2,000 years worth of combat experience. He is a master hand-to-hand fighter, swordsman, master of Shimpo, which is their super speed, which basically it is beyond light speed, the way that it's confirmed, because if Seros are confirmed to be at light speed, and Shinigami generally dodge or block or whatever those. So their reflexes and their traveling speed seems to be, roughly speaking, light to some degree. And when they're actually putting their straight effort into it, like you're not necessarily moving at light speed when you're using Shimpo, but you can move at light speed when you're using Shimpo, if that makes sense. He is also a physical powerhouse. Like the dude is jacked. He is old man jacked. He has knowledge of pretty much probably the spells of the Soul Society, though we very rarely see him actually use them. The only couple we actually ever see him use is one, which is unnamed, that allows him to basically knock someone out. And then Ikitose, which is basically a sacrificial jutsu, which he used his arm to sacrifice a part of his arm with, and caused a giant flame katana to come up from the ground and just try to burn Aizen away, which failed. But obviously his go-to weapon of choice is his Zanpakuto, Nengiryo Jinjaka, which is nothing more than pure, unadulterated flame and hell and fire. It can just swats, tsunamis of flame just coming off this sword. Which can pretty much just, as its release command says, all things in the universe turn to ash. Ryojin Jaka! Again, my Yamamoto I can do my Yamamoto pretty well. My Yuri I can do very well as well, yes. Very good, Nemu. But you have to understand that this is not what we're doing! So I can do that pretty well. I can do a Gin pretty well. You're all definitely a really big threat now, aren't you? So I can do a couple of the Bleach captains for real, but there's a lot of them who I can't do. I can't really do. I can kind of do a Kenpachi if I'm quoting the right line. Like, sanity, what would I ever do with something as useless as that? Lucky for me, I never had any such thing. Like, I can kind of do a Kenpachi. I can't do a Toshiro. He's too young sounding. Like, he's a little flat. Like, if I were to talk, like, I can kind of do a Toshiro, but not quite. Tozen sounds a bit like this. He's very monotone. Like, yeah, he's almost like a little raspy Tozen. I can do that all right. I cannot do a Byakuga beyond just standard civility type talk. Komamura, Komamura's a bit iffy. I can do like half of maybe the 13 core cards SWAT. I can also do Shunsui Kiraku. Or I can do Jusui, was it Jusuro Ukatake. Like, I can do that too. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, Zanbato is horrifyingly powerful. However, it's not the Shikai is just the beginning, because then you go into his Bankai, Zanka no Tachi, which is shown. I'll actually move Sasuke's image a little bit to show you where. See, that's what his Bankai. It doesn't look like much. It's just a charged sword that's smoking. But as it stated, all of his sword's firepower is now concentrated into that one blade. And it has multiple abilities within the blade. Now, like, there are two constantly activated abilities. One is Zanka no Tachi West, which is basically concentrates the blade fire either into the blade itself or the tip. It no longer burns. It doesn't cut. Anything it hits is just blown out of existence, pure and simple. Add on to the fact that Yamamoto is also wrapped in a cloak of heat, his own Ryatsu, that's over 15 million degrees beyond the heat of the sun. Even states, it's like I am wrapped in my Bankai is I am engulfed in the sun itself. And then you have his further ability, Zanka no Tachi Self, which I'm not even going to try to bother remembering the names, by the way, where he resurrects every single corpse he has ever killed with his blade, which probably numbers between the millions and billions. And he summons them as charred ash skeletons to attack the opponent and just overwhelm them. And then he has North, which is basically concentrates all of Bankai's firepower into one concentrated slash, which has the same effect as the base sword, where he's just wiping things out of existence, except now it's done in a range attack. So Yamamoto is beyond nuts powerful because his Bankai is so powerful when he releases it that if it's left activated for too long, he would burn down the entirety of the Soul Society. Now, keep in mind, I got a video I'll be doing later today about the Soul King. Keep in mind that the Bleach dimension, we'll call them dimension for right now, the Bleach worlds, the Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, and the human realm, are not planets. They are separate because by all account, the universe as we know it as a human universe still exists. Pluto, Saturn, all that stuff still exists. Those are separate universes. Now, if we're even lowballing what that statement with Yamamoto and that scaling, he's at lowball destroying an entire planet. But more than likely, he might be destroying more than that. He's probably destroying the overall existence of the Soul Society. Maybe not burning a universe down, but enough that he's burning down beyond just the planet. So Yamamoto is nuts powerful. Now the question just becomes, who wins in a fight? Let's do a hypothetical here and say Sasuke as a soul. Let's just be fair. He'd still be a human soul. He still has all his power, but let's just say that's how he's in. Or let's just call him a Ryoka. He's a Ryoka somehow in the Soul Society. And he's causing some havoc. Like, he's not trying to, but he does. And he's fought some Soul Reapers, maybe even defeated one of the captains. I don't know. Let's just say it's Tozen. Let's just say that. Or no, let's use Kensei. Kensei's a good example because Kensei's kind of trash. And Yamamoto's like, you've caused enough trouble today, young man. Now surrender before things things go beyond the point that you can handle or not handle it. That things go beyond go even further out of your favor. It's like, sorry, I don't have time for this. And Sasuke maybe just fireball jutsu, to which Yamamoto just, it's like, yep. It's like, and Yamamoto just appears right in front of us, like, I will not let you escape. And he just, brings out, backhand Sasuke. Sasuke blocks it, boom, damn it, he's strong. All right, fine. And, Sasuke's firing out some more fire style jutsus, but, it's like, you insult me by throwing sparks at me, and just swings his cane, just releases his sword. Doesn't even release the sword like Shikai. He's just releasing the sword. Just Sasuke and him clash for a little bit. Your skills with the blade is quite impressive, but you are fighting a losing battle. Is that right? And Sasuke tries to put him into genjutsu. Now, this would be probably the one argument I think the big argument a lot of people might have for Sasuke beating Yamamoto is putting him in genjutsu. Because as we know, Yamamoto doesn't have a counter necessarily to illusions, at least not inherently. He was still susceptible to Kyoka Suigetsu, which, by the way, side to point, I don't think the Sharingan would be able to counter Kyoka Suigetsu. Would it be able to see through the visual illusion? Technically, yes, but that doesn't stop the Zanpakuto from still controlling your senses. That even if you saw through it, another one just pops up and it just reappears when he needs to reappear. But regardless, Yamamoto you can also just break out of the genjutsu with sheer will, too. Yamamoto, though, was still able to find Aizen when Aizen plunged his sword in his gut, and he just grabs it. Even it's illusion, there's no mistaking your spiritual oppression or the sword in my gut. So, Yamamoto would still Yamamoto might be taken as an illusion. You think illusions will work on me, boy? And he just flares his Ryatsu, which would be equivalent of chakra, kind of here. They do have similar components, spiritual energy, but different in many ways too. And he just flares, and because we know that genjutsu can also be broken out of if you just disrupt your chakra, he just flares his energy and just poof, gets out of about the basic genjutsu that he was in. Probably still his powerful one, but for someone like Yamamoto, not enough. So but it's theoretically too late as Sasuke's coming in with Chidori. However, it hits and it barely pierces it because Shinigami battles, as they're described as, are battles of Ryatsu. And stronger Ryatsu can counter out a weaker Ryatsu-based attacks. Sasuke admittedly isn't going all out yet, but there is no way a Chidori is piercing Yamamoto. When Yamamoto can take God knows how much punishment from other fighters. And the only damage he's ever taken is from fighters of equal caliber to him. Now, that kind of hints to something that's going to be the ultimate result here. Energy output-wise, Sasuke does not match up to Yamamoto. Sasuke may be planetary. Yamamoto is well beyond, is at minimum planetary plus by several degrees. But he's probably actually well beyond planetary. He's more likely like a solar system level energy. Somewhere along those lines. Even if we were to hypothetically lowball Yamamoto to a degree and say that, okay, he's planetary plus. I don't see Sasuke gut it, like, just boom, like, go straight. If anything, he might barely be able to pierce him. Like, it goes in like it's like impressive. Now let me return to the kind. All things in the universe burn to us. Ryojin Jakai just blast Sasuke back with flame. Who's now his coat singed, it's burning away. Sasuke is now like, damn. And he actually puts up Susanoo. She's like, all right, I see. So this is your true power. Then I will burn it away. And he just wailing on Sasuke's Susanoo, who, even if he can protect him from the flames, initially the heat coming off those flames, the Susanoo cannot protect against. Even a perfect Susanoo can't protect from temperature. At least not inherently. Although technically the chakra should be able to at least keep him warm. This is actually working against him. So he just, and he's just blasting his arm. He uses Amaterasu. Yamamoto's flames are starting to be burned away. However, Yamamoto just keeps wailing. And that inherently is a big difference with some of the Bleach characters and Naruto characters. The Naruto character's chakra pool seems a lot more defined as like an energy source. And what I mean by that is it's a tank of it. You're using it and you're whittling it down. And in Naruto, we see them get a lot more tired from overexertion than we ever do in Bleach. So, and Yamamoto can just keep tsunamiing these flames out if he has to. So now it's like, so Sasuke's like, okay, new plan, pre the path, starts absorbing as much of the flames as possible, firing arrows at Yamamoto, who's now just dodging. And it's like, sorry. Sorry, and the wings sprout out and brings out the stars. I don't have any more time to play. Clashes Yamamoto, who's actually blown back. I see. I have no choice then. Now I'm being gracious to Sasuke and saying that he would be strong enough to push Yamamoto to his Bankai. I don't actually personally believe that, but I'm doing it for the sake of the fight because we got to explore all options. Yamamoto just is Bankai. Zonko no Tachi, I must end this quickly. And he just kind of rushes in. It's like, God, it's like, got you. And then the arrow blasts and just incinerates because any attack just pretty much incinerates. Unless you're using something that would bypass heat, such as wind actually would bypass heat. Momentum hypothetically could bypass heat. Anything that could absorb heat could bypass heat. But Sasuke, except for the Pretapath, doesn't really have that. And even then, yeah, he could absorb the Ryatsu hypothetically, but he can't get close enough to actually do that. And so Sasuke's trying to use like Shinra Tensei, push Yamamoto back, but we also know Shinra Tensei can be overpowered, but just a strong enough opponent. Yamamoto just is blazing through there. He tries to use, I could even see him maybe trying to use Pretapath with Pretapath with his Susanoo trying to absorb it. Susanoo just starts burning apart. Yamamoto just comes in to strike. All of a sudden, he's just teleported behind Sasuke, who uses his one second here. The name of the technique was Amenoteke Jikara to disappear behind Yamamoto, going for his last trump card as he's been firing fire this whole time, using Yamamoto's fire, creating Kirin to just blast Yamamoto, who just dodges out of the way because he should have got to move faster than lightning. And then just comes in Sasuke and try to clash again, only this time Sasuke's pretty screwed at this point. And just he tries one last time for a Genjutsu. However, Yamamoto at this point just can't. It wouldn't even matter if he is put under the Genjutsu. Sasuke trying to like do a final attack, gets too close, it's going to be incinerated. Plus, Bankai amps your abilities 5 to 10 times. So Yamamoto is probably maxed out 10 times stronger than he was in base. So even if he tries, he still probably has to make eye contact, and Yamamoto is just moving at two extreme speeds at this point. They clash one more time, and Sasuke is pretty much done. Maybe he could try to get out of there with substitution jutsu, but that's wishful thinking, I think. What ultimately does Sasuke in for this is the fact that we do see Sasuke, Naruto's got God knows how much chakra, but even he tires out. Sasuke just tires out way quicker than we've ever seen Bleach characters do. Even when he used his Bankai and was exhausted, he was still more than willing to fight and capable of reactivating his Bankai. So it was tough on him, but yeah, he could do it. And so yeah, I think because just on a power level scaling, Yamamoto is much higher, has much greater experience, far greater physicality. He can literally just spam his flames far greater than Sasuke ever could. He pretty much has a kind of a counter to just about everything Sasuke has. The only thing he doesn't have an immediate counter for is Genjutsu. And even then, Yamamoto can probably either through sheer will or manipulating his Ryatsu snap out of a Genjutsu without too much difficulty. And even if he doesn't, I don't see Sasuke like just plunging his Chidori through his head or anything because he's far stronger than that. He's not strong enough to be dead or killed outright. And so that little bit of pain he gets, he'd probably just snap him out of it. So Sasuke would actually be his own worst enemy in that case. The only weapons he really has that could compete with Yamamoto to a degree is Kirin, and even then, if Kirin lands a shot, it doesn't matter because we've seen Yamamoto take a giant shot from a lightning blast with Chojiro's Bankai, which is arguably even stronger than Kirin because it is manipulating straight out weather patterns. And that's multiple bolts of lightning, multiple bolts of, and concentrated in one sword, and we see that's how he got his other scar. Kirin and Susanoo and Amaterasu, and Yamamoto can frankly just keep the Amaterasu at bay when it's either his Ryatsu or just keep spamming flames. So at the end of the day, I'm going Genryusai Yamamoto here. But this is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks next time.